How do car accident injury settlements work in Massachusetts? Hi, I'm attorney John Sheehan. Since 1993, I've represented thousands of injured workers and car accident victims throughout Massachusetts. I fight to make sure that each client receives all the compensation and medical treatment that they're entitled to without getting taken advantage of by an insurance company. Well, first of all, as in most legal cases, in a car accident injury claim, there's two parts to the case, two parts to the claim. The first part is liability, the second part's damages. Let me explain what liability is. Liability is just a fancy technical legal term for who is at fault, who is legally responsible for causing the car accident. In other words, who is negligent. You have to be able to obtain evidence, proof, to be able to establish that the car accident was caused by the other driver's fault, that the other driver was negligent. And this could include things like police reports, photographs of the damages and points of contact with the vehicles involved in the accident, photographs of the scene of the accident that maybe shows markings or skid marks in the roadway or debris to be able to show where the cars were, be able to show the force of the impact. Also, witness statements, witnesses who observed the accident who could be able to give a statement that the accident was caused by the other driver's negligence. The other thing you need to do as far as preparing a car accident injury claim is to confirm coverage, confirm insurance coverage. You need to confirm that the other driver, the negligent driver, had an active auto policy, that it wasn't canceled, that they had insurance. There are some states surrounding Massachusetts that, believe it or not, don't require insurance, and some drivers cross the border into Massachusetts and they're uninsured. You have to know what the limits are of the other driver's policy. There's all kinds of different limits that make up a auto policy. When it comes to a car accident injury claim caused by another driver's fault or negligence, the limits you have to look for are what's called bodily injury limits. How much are the bodily injury limits of the insurance policy for the car that caused the accident, the car that was negligent? In personal lines auto policies in Massachusetts, the minimum required bodily injury limits, or BI limits, are what we call $20,000, $40,000. And in a case like that, where there's one injured person that was injured in a car accident caused by another driver's fault, the limits, if it's the minimum policy limits, are $20,000. There could be additional insurance that could come into play under your own policy, under your own auto policy, or perhaps an auto policy of a family member living in the same household as you. These limits or coverages would include uninsured coverage in the case of being injured in a car accident caused by another driver's fault or negligence and the other driver was not insured for whatever reason, or it could be underinsured limits, underinsured motorist benefits. Those are insurance coverage limits that you purchase to protect you in case you're injured by another car and the owner or driver of the car was not adequately insured. They don't have enough insurance limits to fully compensate you. Now, the other part of the case, I mentioned liability, the other part of the claim is what's called damages. Now, damages include things like your medical bills, lost wages if you were not able to work and you have a doctor's note disabling you from work because of the car accident. It also includes things like scarring, disfigurement, if you suffered a scar or disfigurement because of the accident, or pain and suffering, the pain that you went through because of the injuries, whether it was a muscle strain, a back injury, or you sustained a fracture, maybe you had to have surgery because of the injuries that you sustained in the car accident. Those are all things that go into establishing what your damages are. As far as the steps in negotiating a car accident injury settlement, you should definitely not try and do this on your own. You need to have an experienced car accident lawyer to represent you, a lawyer that has proven results representing other car accident victims who were injured in a car accident in Massachusetts. Your lawyer will put together what's called a settlement demand packet, and then the lawyer will negotiate with the insurance adjuster, the bodily injury adjuster for the other driver's insurance company. They'll negotiate a settlement. There'll be some back and forth, offers, counter demands, counter offers. They'll reach a point where the insurance company will make their last and best offer to settle the case, and then your lawyer will have a serious discussion with you about your lawyer's recommendations, what your options are, whether to settle or go to court and file a lawsuit, and what are the options there, what are the risks. If you're able to reach a settlement amount before going to court, before filing the lawsuit, your lawyer is going to have to look into things like liens to see if there are any health insurance liens or rights of reimbursement by the health insurance company under the health insurance policy. Is there a mass health lien or a Medicare lien? Are there any unpaid provider bills out there that for whatever reason weren't paid? It's better to try and negotiate with those now to get whatever reduction you can and keep the unpaid bills from going into collection. We don't want to do anything that's going to hurt your credit rating. Under the contingent fee agreement, and all personal injury lawyers, car accident lawyers representing a person injured in a car accident will be representing them under what's called a contingent fee agreement. And usually there could be some differences among lawyers, but in most cases the standard is 1/3 of whatever the settlement is, plus whatever out-of-pocket expenses your lawyer has, documented out-of-pocket expenses related to handling your car accident injury claim. Finally, you have to be aware too, and your lawyer should inquire, are there any outstanding liens, such as Department of Revenue liens with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for things like child support or unpaid taxes. The law in Massachusetts is that if any insurance company is issuing a check to a person that's over $500, they have to do what's called a DOR check, a Department of Revenue check, to make sure that there are no unpaid child support orders or unpaid taxes. So if you know that ahead of time, perhaps your lawyer can contact the Department of Revenue and negotiate some type of an agreement to reduce what's owed so that you can maximize how much you receive net out of the settlement. If you've been injured in a car accident in Massachusetts due to another driver's fault recently, and you're either finishing up your medical treatment or the accident just started, or you're in the middle of treatment, you should contact an experienced car accident lawyer to discuss your case, to represent you, to make sure that you don't make any mistakes on your own, to make sure that you get the most you can under the law and under the available insurance coverages. If you'd like to contact me about your car accident, you can call me directly, you can send me an email. If you prefer, you can visit my website where you'll find contact forms that you can fill out and submit to us. I'll reach back out to you and we'll talk. We'll talk about how the accident happened, what your injuries are, what your medical treatment is, and I'll talk to you about what I think the next steps are in being able to proceed with the car accident injury claim. And I'd be happy to represent you. I've represented thousands of both in workers' comp, injured workers, and in car accident victims throughout Massachusetts. And I'd be pleased and happy to represent you. If you find the information in this video helpful, please like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the bell icon below so that you'll receive notifications of my future videos, and share this video with your friends and family.